What if I told you that one of the biggest pop stars in the world was once completely ignored, rejected by the same industry that later worshipped her? Before the fame, before the billions of views, before the colorful stages and global tours, there was a girl named Katheryn Hudson, growing up in a strict religious household where pop music was forbidden and dreams of stardom felt almost impossible. While the world danced to artists like Britney Spears and Madonna, she was singing gospel songs in church, unaware that one day she would stand among the very icons she wasn't even allowed to listen to. At just 15, she released her first album, pouring her heart into it, believing this was her moment. But the world didn't respond. The album failed, barely selling copies, leaving her dream hanging by a thread. Most people would have given up right there, but something inside her refused to quit. She moved to Los Angeles with nothing but hope, only to face rejection again and again, signing deals that went nowhere, getting dropped by labels, struggling financially, even questioning if she had made the biggest mistake of her life. But then, in 2008, everything changed with one bold, controversial song that shook the world, I Kissed a Girl. Overnight, she went from invisible to unavoidable, from rejected to talked about everywhere, stepping into fame with a fearless identity that made people love her and criticize her at the same time. But behind the bright colors and playful persona was a story far more complicated, filled with heartbreak, pressure, public judgment, and moments where she almost lost herself completely. This is not just the story of success. This is the story of failure, resilience, reinvention, and survival. This is the journey of a girl who refused to disappear, who turned rejection into power, and who proved that sometimes the people who are told you'll never make it are the ones who change everything. Katy Perry. Born as Katheryn Elizabeth Hudson in Santa Barbara, grew up in a world very different from the glamorous life she would later live, raised by deeply religious parents who were pastors, where music was limited to gospel and any form of mainstream pop culture was considered inappropriate, shaping her early identity in a way that both restricted her and unknowingly prepared her for something greater. As a child, she sang in church, developing a powerful voice without the influence of commercial music, and while other kids were inspired by global stars, she was building her foundation in a completely different environment, one that emphasized discipline, faith, and expression through music in its purest form. At the age of 15, she released her first album titled Katy Hudson, a gospel record that she hoped would open doors for her career, but instead, it quietly disappeared without impact, selling only a few hundred copies and leaving her with the harsh reality that talent alone wasn't enough to succeed in the music industry. This early failure could have ended her journey, but instead, it became the turning point that pushed her to evolve, to take risks and to step outside the boundaries she had always known. Determined to chase her dreams, she moved to Los Angeles, the city where dreams are made and broken every day, and there she faced some of the toughest years of her life, signing with record labels that later dropped her, working on projects that never got released, struggling financially, and living with constant uncertainty about her future. Yet, she continued to write music, experiment with her style, and search for her identity as an artist. It was during this time that she reinvented herself, not just changing her sound, but also her name, becoming Katy Perry, a new version of herself ready to take on the world. In 2008, after years of struggle, she finally broke through with the release of I Kissed a Girl, a song that was bold, controversial, and impossible to ignore, instantly capturing global attention and sparking conversations everywhere, marking the beginning of her rise to fame. The success of her album, One of the Boys, established her as a new force in pop music, But it was her next album, Teenage Dream, that turned her into a global icon. Producing multiple #1 hits and placing her alongside legends like Michael Jackson in terms of chart success, a moment that defined her career and solidified her place in music history. Her vibrant visuals, catchy songs, and bold personality made her stand out in an industry full of talent, and she quickly became one of the most recognizable faces in pop culture. However, with great success came immense pressure, and behind the scenes, Katy was dealing with personal struggles that the public couldn't see, including her marriage to Russell Brand, which ended in divorce and left her emotionally devastated, forcing her to confront the reality that fame could not protect her from heartbreak. As her career continued, she faced criticism and challenges, with some of her later projects not achieving the same level of success, leading to public speculation about whether her time at the top was coming to an end. A narrative that many artists face when the industry begins to shift its focus. During this period, Katy openly spoke about her struggles with mental health, revealing a more vulnerable side of herself that contrasted with her bright and playful public image, showing that even those who seem to have everything can feel lost and uncertain. But instead of fading away, she chose to grow, to evolve, and to redefine what success meant to her, focusing not just on charts and numbers, but on authenticity and personal happiness. She found love again with Orlando Bloom, building a relationship that brought stability and support into her life, and later embracing motherhood, which marked a new chapter that shifted her priorities and gave her a deeper sense of purpose beyond fame. Today, Katy Perry stands as more than just a pop star. She is a symbol of resilience, a reminder that failure is not the end, but often the beginning of something greater. And her journey from a struggling gospel singer to a global icon serves as inspiration for anyone who has ever been told they are not good enough. Her story teaches us that success is not a straight path, but a series of ups and downs, and that the true measure of a person is not how high they rise, but how they respond when they fall. In a world that often celebrates perfection, Katy Perry's journey stands out because it is real, it is imperfect, and it is deeply human, proving that sometimes the greatest victories come from the moments when everything seems lost, and that the courage to keep going, even when the world says stop, is what truly defines a legend. Katy Perry's journey is more than just a success story. It's a reminder that failure is not the end of your path. It's often the beginning of your real story. Many people quit when they face rejection, when doors close, or when the world doesn't notice their effort. But her life shows that persistence matters more than instant success. If you're struggling right now, feeling like your efforts are invisible or your dreams are too far away, remember this. Every successful person you admire was once in your position, doubted, ignored, and tested by life. The difference is they didn't stop. Don't let one failure define you. Don't let people's opinions limit you. And most importantly, don't give up on yourself just because the results are slow. Success takes time, growth takes patience, and your breakthrough can come when you least expect it. Keep learning, keep improving, and keep believing, because your story is still being written, and just like Katy Perry, your biggest setback could become your greatest comeback. If this story inspired you, if it made you feel something, or if it reminded you not to give up on your dreams, then this channel is made for you. We bring you real stories of success, failure, fame, and the truth behind the lives of the world's biggest stars like Katy Perry. Stories that don't just entertain you, but also teach you something valuable about life. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and become part of this journey, because we're just getting started. There are many more powerful documentaries coming your way, stories that will inspire you, motivate you, and maybe even change the way you see your own life. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and don't miss the next story, because the next one might be exactly what you need to hear right now.